Are you thinking about getting your real estate license in Wisconsin? Well, in this video, I'm gonna go through a complete step-by-step guide so you know exactly how to get licensed and get started with your new career. My name is Chris. I've been a licensed agent for the past 10 years. I'm also a team leader and real estate coach that's been able to help hundreds of people get their license and get started with their new career. Before we jump into the video, I do want to let you know about our real estate license starter kit. Everything in this video plus a lot more is inside that guide. If you want to check it out, it's completely free to download. It's down in the description below where you can get your copy of it. I put a lot of time into making that guide, so I hope you really like it. Also, down in the description below, you're going to find a link to my favorite real estate school. And the reason I love this school so much is they offer a pass or don't pay guarantee. The reason this is so important is because many people struggle to pass their real estate exam, and this school is so confident in what they do and what they teach, they actually offer this. So if you want to check out their classes, there is an affiliate link down below where you'll be able to access different sales and discounts on their classes. So make sure to check that out as well. So the very first step to getting your license is just meeting some of the basic requirements in Wisconsin. First, you must have a high school diploma or a GED. And you must be 18 years old or older. Another requirement is you must be a legal US citizen or legal resident. One more thing I do want to bring up is that if you have something on your record, such as a felony, that may prevent you from getting licensed, just know you're going to have to do a background check. So if you have this concern, make sure to reach out to the Real Estate Commission ahead of time before you go through this entire process. Now, if you feel like you're good and you don't have anything to worry about, then I would just go forward with the process and go in the order that I go through in this video. Step number 2 is completing your state-approved pre-licensed education. In Wisconsin, you're required to complete 72 hours of state-approved classes. And yes, I know, 72 hours is a ton of time to invest, especially if you have a busy schedule or even a 9-to-5 job. The good news is you can do these classes in person or online. I actually suggest the online approach because you still get access to the instructors and support and mentorship that you would want in in-person classes, but you avoid all of the drive time and inconvenience of having to drive back and forth to a physical location, especially if you have a busy lifestyle. And even though these classes are 72 hours, you're going to learn a ton of great things. You're going to learn real estate law, real estate math, real estate finance, real estate ethics. These are all things that you're going to use when you're out in the real estate field practicing real estate. Also, make sure to really pay attention because this is all the information you're going to need in order to pass your real estate exam. That takes us to step number 3, which is scheduling and passing your real estate exam. In Wisconsin, the exams are held by Pearson VUE, and if you want to schedule, you can go online and schedule or give them a call and schedule your time. Just make sure to give them at least 24 hours notice in advance. Now, when you get to the testing center on test day, you're going to want to bring a couple basic things. The first thing is a basic non-scientific calculator for the math portion of the exam, and then you're going to want to bring 2 forms of identification. This can be a debit card, a credit card, a passport, or a driver's license. Just make sure to bring 2. Now, the next thing you want to do is actually take your exam. And you're probably wondering, what is this exam actually like? Well, the good news is it's all multiple choice questions. But don't get too comfortable too fast because a lot of people still fail this exam and they really struggle. One tip I do want to give you is to make sure you read each question multiple times before you finally submit your answer. And the reason this is so important is because the questions can be written in a way that's a little confusing and a little tricky. Now, they're not trying to make you fail this exam by any means. They just want to make sure that you understand the information and that you're fully ready to go out and work with the public and help people with real estate transactions. So make sure you read each question multiple times before you submit your final answer. Now, there are 2 different portions of the exam. You have a state-specific portion of the exam and a national portion of the exam. If you fail one and pass the other, you just have to come back and retake the part that you failed. But in order to get a passing score, you have to pass both exams. Now you're probably wondering, what is a passing score? Well, for these exams, you want to get a 75% score or higher. Now, if you fall short and you don't make it and you end up failing one of these, or if you fail both of these, don't beat yourself up too much. In fact, I know many people that failed this exam multiple times before they ever passed. And guess what? They went on to be rock star real estate agents. They're super successful. They're great at real estate, and they are so thankful that they didn't give up. So make sure you don't quit on this process and make sure you stick to it because this doesn't mean you're going to be a bad agent. It just means you need to double down on your studying and give it another shot. Now, if you pass your exam, it's time to celebrate because we're moving on to the next step and we're one step closer to getting your license. And that takes us to step number 4, which is completing your fingerprinting and background check. So what you want to do here is you want to go through a Wisconsin approved vendor and get this done. And that takes us to step number 5, which is applying for your real estate license. In Wisconsin, this is done through the Wisconsin Department of Safety and Professional Services. And in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to package up everything that we've done so far. So we're going to get proof that we completed our state approved pre-license classes, which is the 72 hours. We're also going to get proof that we did our background check and that we passed our real estate exam. We're going to put it all together with our license application, and then we're going to send it off. Once that's done, we move on to step number 6, which is choosing your sponsoring broker. Now, this part is fun, it's exciting, and you're probably really motivated to get started with, working at your first brokerage. But as exciting as this step is, it's a very serious part of the process, because if you pick the wrong brokerage in the first mentor that you're going to have in real estate, it can set you back a long ways. And in fact, it can even cause you to fail if you don't get the right support. So I want to give you some of the most important questions to ask when you're picking your first brokerage. The first question to ask is what kind of mentorship and trainings you have specifically for brand new agents. Now, let's touch on the mentorship piece. When I first started real estate, I remember I was running around, I was knocking on doors, I was making calls, I was just doing anything I could to get my first sale. And then I finally had my first client and I was going to make our first offer on a property that they were interested in. And I just remember looking around like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I really needed to turn to a mentor in that moment that could work me through the process and help me, kind of ease that anxiety that I had. Like I didn't want to put these people in a bad predicament because I didn't know what I was doing and I really needed help. So when that happens to you, you want to make sure you have a mentor that you can reach out to at your brokerage that's going to be able to work you through this entire process. The next question to ask is what kind of new agent training do they have? Now, new agent training is very specific. And you want to make sure that the brokerage has something specifically for brand new agents, because if they don't, you might just get generic real estate classes, and sometimes they're not really going to help you launch your business the way that you need to. You need something that's going to help you build your business from zero and get it to a point where you're feeling comfortable, confident, and you start getting new clients. So make sure they have classes specific to brand new agents. The next question to ask is, how are you going to help me market and grow my business? Did you know that 87% of agents fail out of the business? And the main reason that they fail is not because they don't like the business or they think it's bad. It's because they can't figure out how to get new clients. And as a brand new agent, this is going to be one of your biggest challenges. So make sure that you're with a brokerage that's going to teach you how to market yourself, how to market your business, and how to get new clients so you can start becoming more busy and more productive and start getting to your goals faster. And the third question to ask is, what kind of monthly fees and commission splits do you offer? Now, the first part of that question is the monthly fees. Now, this is the most important part because the monthly fees come out no matter if you're selling or you're not. And I'll tell you firsthand, if you're brand new, those monthly fees can feel really tough if you constantly get charges into your bank account when you're not actually making any income from this business. So make sure that you ask this question ahead of time. And just to give you an idea of what to expect, monthly fees kind of look like this. Some brokerages have no monthly fees. You could be there, you can work, you can do your thing, and it's $0 a month. Others are a small monthly fee, and then some are very expensive. Some can be up to a couple $100s per month. So make sure to have this conversation ahead of time. The next part of that question is the commission splits. Now, commission splits are an important part of the business, but they're not the entire business. But the best way to get to the bottom of this is to say, if I make a $10,000 commission, how much of that money do I actually get to keep? And this will really help you break through a lot of the noise, and that will help you figure out what the actual net commission is going to be. But I want to give you a fair warning. Don't hyper focus on commission splits, especially as a new agent, because 100% of nothing is still nothing. I would much rather see you go to a brokerage that's going to give you the support, training, mentorship, and guidance you need to become successful and become a really good agent than go to a brokerage that's just going to give you low fees and then just kind of say, hey, you're on your own, do your own thing. That's never fun. So That's just a little tip that I wish I knew when I first started. Now that you have all the steps to get licensed, I want to go through some of the top questions that I get on a regular basis because I'm sure you have some questions right now. The first question is, how much does it actually cost to get your Wisconsin real estate license? Well, I would estimate anywhere between $600 and $900. It really depends on what classes you choose, if you decide to upgrade into any exam prep tools, and ultimately what brokerage you choose, and if there's any onboarding fees or sign-on fees for you as a brand new agent. But overall, considering the upside potential and the career that you can make out of this, it's a pretty low cost to get started. Another question I get is, how long does it actually take to get your real estate license? Well, in Wisconsin, since you have to do 72 hours of state-approved education and then go through the entire process that we explained before, I would estimate anywhere between 2 to 3 months if you're motivated, dedicated, and driven to go through this process and get licensed. The third question that I get a lot is the real estate exam actually hard? And the reality is, it is very hard. And a lot of people do fail the exam multiple times. Some people can actually never figure out how to pass it. But I don't want to scare you with that, because it doesn't have to be this way. I remember back when I was studying, I was just looking at a boring textbook and I would just sit there and try to study and study and study. And I felt like nothing was sticking and I was getting frustrated, I was getting aggravated. And eventually I started doing more research and I found exam prep tools. And eventually I ended up investing in one and it helped me tremendously. And that exam prep tool put me through quizzes and test-like simulations, and it really helped me build the confidence I needed to pass the exam on test day. So I highly suggest these exam prep tools. If you want to check one out, I do recommend Compucram. There is an affiliate link down below where you can check out their exam prep tool. And I think it will definitely help you build that confidence that you need to study and then ultimately go in on test day and pass. The last question I get is, can I start this part-time? And the reality is, you absolutely can. And that's one of my favorite things about this business and this career, is that you can build it into whatever you want to build it into. If you want to be a part-time agent and help a couple extra people per year and make extra income, you totally can do that. But if you want to be a top producer and make a really big income and help a ton of people, you can do that as well, as long as you're willing to put the work in and really learn and dedicate your time. So the best thing about real estate is you get to build it into whatever you want to build it into. So it's entirely flexible. And that's something great about this business. So if you have other questions, drop them down in the comment section below and I'll get back to you ASAP. Also, if you like the video, smash that like button. I do appreciate it. And also subscribe, and more content all about getting licensed and starting a new career is coming out soon. Thanks again for tuning in.